The worst financial advice: go to school, study hard, get good grades, get a job, pay taxes, save money, buy a house, because your house is an asset, and invest for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. How many people heard that bullshit? You know what I mean? I own stocks. I won't touch stocks. They're stocks from my company. This here is ore. This is real gold. It's from my company. I took public this last summer on the New York Stock Exchange. So I do own stocks, but I'm an entrepreneur. I do not buy stocks from other people. I sell stocks. I don't buy stocks. I won't touch ETFs. I won't touch mutual funds. I don't touch any of that crap. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but if you have the proper education, you don't need to buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. I can create my own. That's all Rich Dad Poor Dad was about. I create my own assets. I don't need Wall Street to do it for me. Now, you might have to because you don't have the education. But that's why I created the cash flow board game and all this. So people can get the idea they can create their own fucking assets. Why do they buy that garbage? My first company I took public was off the Toronto Stock Exchange. It was an oil company in China. And once we was the biggest gold mine in China, once they went public, it was 2004, and we struck gold, the fucking Chinese took it. I now know the word country risk. I don't do business in communist countries. You don't have to, okay? But now Wall Street's pushing this thing about, oh, emerging markets, emerging markets, emerging markets. If you believe Wall Street, man, it's really, they're a sick organization as far as, I don't need them. I need to take my companies public, but I don't believe a word they say. This is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And always, as we say, there's always three sides to a coin. So if you want to go to school, save money, get out of debt, invest for the long term in well-diversified portfolios, you know, Kenny and I are in debt up to $1 billion. Because what happened in '71, the dollar became debt, thanks to Nixon. But they don't teach you that in school. But if you don't have financial education, then stay with that. Okay. That's why Dave Ramsey, you know, his guys come after me all the time and say, you know, Dave says live debt free. I said, that's Dave's advice. You got to choose your teachers carefully. Because this is your most important asset, is your brain, but it could also be your greatest liability. Okay, so that's why I'm honored you guys are here. I think you guys are the smartest guys on planet Earth at this moment, but keep an open mind. You don't have to believe a word, everything I say, because I'm just on one side. I won't touch that garb. I don't save money, and I don't buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. And I use debt. And that's what the teachers came after me about. He teaches debt. Well, these idiots don't know the dollar is debt. They can print as much as they like. You know. So my first gold coin, I paid $50 for it. It was a Krugerrand I bought in Hong Kong. And today it's worth about $2,200. Now, did the Krugerrand get bigger or the dollar devalue? Dollar devalue. So the way they rip you off today is via your money. They rip you off via this statement here. Wall Street, Yellen, and those characters, that's how they rip you off. They teach you things that will keep you poor. Now I'm going to go after the Fed. Oh, that's my oil tanker there. That's what I did. I drove oil tankers for Standard Oil. So when I graduated when I left Standard Oil, I went to flight school. I said, I'm going to go fight. So I cut out my $120,000 a year job. I went to fly for the U.S. Marine Corps. I went to military school, went to this school. And the reason I have this picture here, in the military, this is how we're taught to fight. We fight as teams. In school, they teach you to be the smartest in the class and stand by yourself. That's why A students pay the highest taxes. I don't know if you know that. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, and all that. Employees, I don't know where my charts are anymore, but oh, it's over here. This is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a financial statement. When somebody says, what is financial literacy? This is financial literacy. Income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. This is the big difference here. This is we developed this for the cash flow board game here. Employees and academics focus here. Capitalists focus here. So my poor dad wanted me to focus, live, make a lot of money, keep your keep your expenses low. Capitalists focus here, and that was a big difference for me. So I don't pay much attention. I mean, I do, but I pay more attention here. So financial literacy is what's an asset, what's a liability, what's income, what's expense. This is called a statement of cash flow. So when I was sitting in my MBA program, getting spit on by my students, and this is in University of Hawaii, and I was still in the Marine Corps, the guy teaching accountancy didn't know this. He knew debits and credits, and he didn't know shit. Our academics, not very smart people. I mean, for the real world. And the problem here is this is book number 2. How many people read Cash Flow Quadrant? Good, thank you. That's book number 2. Employee, self-employed, small business, big business, I is inside. I only invest from the inside. I don't invest from the outside. I create my own assets. That's a rich entrepreneur. Poor entrepreneurs invest from the outside. Very big difference in mindset, experience, and all this. So the thing about the military, that's how we're taught to fly. So when we entered combat, we fought as teams. And when I see most entrepreneurs go into business like doctors and lawyers, oh, I'm an A student. I was the best in my class. And what happens is, these guys here, the self-employed, these are small entrepreneurs, they pay 60% in taxes, 40%, 20%, 0. So when Trump ran for office, that communist Hillary said to him, he says, yeah, and Donald doesn't pay any taxes. And Hillary says that to Donald, you don't pay any taxes. So Donald says, that means I'm smart. How many people in this room don't like paying taxes? How many people pay no taxes? Legally. And you don't have to move. The fucking Peter Schiff, he moves to Puerto Rico. I'm going, you can even live in California and not pay taxes. But you got to know the tax law. So my accountant's Tom Wheelwright. He has his book, Tax-Free Wealth, and we do everything legally. So my advisors are key to it. So this was my rich dad. When I was 10 years old, he was training me to be an inside investor in real estate. So we played Monopoly, the formulas 4 greenhouses, 1031 Red Hotel. But the key to real estate is collect that rent. So when I was 10 years old, I think I'll collect rent. And I talked to Donald Trump. He says his father did the same thing to him. Don Jr. and Eric Trump are good friends. His father made to do the same thing. They have to go collect rent. He says, if you can collect rent, you can do anything.